2 of basically like phase 2. And I just did the scale, which basically is exactly where I started. So, right, and the whole thing of this, I'm going, okay, it's a permanent weight loss solution, but it's not, it's a process for that. I don't have, I'm aware I don't have a full, for me to try to lose weight and keep it off, if I were to follow a diet, a plan, a thing, I'd have the weight off. So that's not, I know, so that my background, what to eat, what to have, if I trained, if I did all those things, if I forced myself into the way, I knew what to do just for the end goal, for the weight loss, for me, 5, 6, 7 pounds, that thing. That's what, in the beginning, with the first 7 days, I was testing these things, and I dropped, right? I can do that, and it dropped, or then that was one theory, and then I have other ones. My body would do that. That's, so everybody has different bodies and different things, but that's not what I'm trying to do. And when I say permanent weight loss, so for myself, what my baseline was, and then there's always going to be a fluctuation in that weight. So I'm trying to get that baseline down. So it's not, right now my baseline is higher than what I would want it to be, but that's based on habits, things, blah, 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 but also because of this literally shredding the shit and the emotional layers, and then what goes into that and what that means and how the body's shifting around and changing and everything. And I say that because I also look at the fat percentages and different stuff. So it's a whole thing, but it's the process of what's going on in the brain for the purposes of the healing, to understand the habits, how that affects the body, the energies and everything. I also recognize, so I started this in the beginning, and I don't know, I might be wrong, I have to go check. So I obviously didn't do my proper data on my period. Has been all over the place, and I don't know in this process if I've got it yet. I might have, but I might be wrong. But I do know in the beginning of it, I was I had just finished it. So actually I had just finished it, so I could be due for it, which also would change things. So it's when a woman's body, right? So okay, we're ovulation, PMS, periods, right? All of these things. So I'm 39, right? The shift of the body and how that is. All of these things have a role. That's why it's week to week, day to day, all of these things are factors. That's what, and when we expect, okay, this day is going to be, if we expect to live every day in this perfection, we're going to have a problem. That's the first thing that people need to recognize, is that our lives go like this. So how do we handle this, right? Versus it's not practical. And then you go, did I do, what actions am I taking? What things have I done? I took yesterday, I was I feel not good. So my body needed a break again. I kind of shut down. I, went back to the gym. And then I was but I'm oh, I'm sore. And those are the things. And so they're not excuses to stop. People start things and then they go, but what happens? And this is the old me. This is why because I'm an all or nothing type person. Go in, boom, 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 crash. Go in, boom, boom, into something where I'm trying to navigate that. So it's a sustainable thing. And then navigate through the traumas, the past and everything, improving with the cognitive therapy, with the weight management, the different theories and stuff behind it. So a different person's body going through the same process is going to be totally different based on, and I said, all just the restrictions of the time windows and how they would be, right? But if you're not me, and then the changes. But if somebody's body's weight is used to, more exercise, and then they're not exercising as much, right? I've even, so I was doing this before my body shut down, right? So in the beginning of this, and then it didn't like it anymore. And then I have stopped really and then I shifted into something totally different, which will then, I'm not going to drop the weight the same, right? So there's a whole bunch of factors. So when you're doing this process for yourself, being aware of all the factors, being aware of the self-talk. I said, I did hear something from, one of I was listening to whatever, a podcast or YouTube show or whatever. One of the doctors said, so I'm not against all doctors, for the record, right? I'm sure there's good ones out there. I do follow good ones that I watch on television and just haven't met them in real life. or on YouTube and stuff like that have like, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. That's how I've been, like, what goes in your head when you've been failed, right? So I, in my real life, been failed by where all the places I went to go get help. That's why I'm creating this. Okay, well, now I choose to put what's in my head. Okay, that information seems to make sense. Okay, that doesn't. And so many people are influenced by people that are close to them, which actually, that's what affects that process. So I'm very clear, okay, that makes sense, that makes sense. So, you know, your body hears every negative thought you have. So how many negative thoughts are you having about yourself and your body? Right? All the time. Like for me, all the time. Okay, now add the layer of the brainwashing and the beliefs of the people around. So that goes back to that environment. Growing up in an environment basically, or all the say, and the prejudice and the things, or like believing that when you take care of yourself, right? When you do things for yourself, you're a selfish person, you're a bad person, right? If that's put on you. So if you celebrate your body, that's bad. So coming from then, that's a confusing state, right? If that's my internal dialogue, then I went into modeling different things, and then you surround people that make you feel guilty for it. Okay, well, that you see, that's the layers to understand those things. So, and that, right, everybody, this is the point, should understand, and I'm stealing this from a book I saw or whatever else, but and that the theories behind it, but your body is not an apology, right? This is the body you were given, this is what you were meant. So, okay, what are you doing with it? How can you love it and be the best version of yourself with it, and take care of it and do the things for it? Okay, and understanding, then not having the self-talk when you punish it, understand why you're punishing it. And a lot of people that don't understand why people punish it don't understand the lack of self-worth thing, which comes from the self-talk, which also probably was triggered by something in the environment that we might have taken in as feeling guilty for. That's a self-punishment. People that are self-punishers, I've been a self-punisher to my body. I'm working on healing that process. That's the point. That's the longevity piece. It's just working through that process. So instead of, right, what could be the story today? You started this process, you are the same, you haven't done blah, 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 and then go into feeling like shit, because I do actually, my body doesn't feel, I still feel out of sorts, but I'm working through that, so I don't have that talk, so then it can get into the healing phase of what that is, and then you have to look back, okay, how far really, like, you've come overall, versus like just these things, learning to understand and like the process. Apparently it releases dopamine. That's a whole other topic though. I'd have to have somebody else explain it.